Power. I think the battery's dead on this one. If it powers up, it shuts right off. Is that rechargeable or is that?
It's fine.
Is it? I did it wrong. Thank you. Sorry, my fault. All right. Well, it being 5:30, this is the Tilton Northfield Fire Department Commissioners meeting for December 10th, 2024. It's 5:30 p.m. We're in the Tilton Town Hall downstairs meeting room. Present for the meeting are Commissioners Tim Sattler, Paul Ozier, Deputy Chief Mike Robinson, Chief Mike Sitar, and from Lorero, oh, sorry,
Don't worry, Thomas Roy.
Thomas Roy.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No problem.
No other members of the public. Kathy is not here, and Jason is informed me that he will not be here.
Okay.
A lot of items to cover. I'd like to move directly to Building Committee and the discussion with Lorero.
Sure.
Is that all right, Paul?
That's fine with me.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate it.
No problem.
As you can tell, we have been moving along,
Yeah.
and I'm sure.
And we've been in contact with Mike off and on, just checking in. And we know you guys hired a company out of UNH to do a study and all that.
Yeah. And we came up with that new charge for the building committee with the 2 stations and a couple phases.
Yeah.
And I think we're eager to move forward with that and get going. And so obviously Mike's kept you up to date on that. And so I've got your proposal here. It's in your packet, Paul.
The revised one, right?
The
Yes.
revised one. And yeah, I don't know if you want to chat about how you came about. And
Well,
how
what
you-
happened was when Mike sent me the revised upgrade, right, for the three-stage approach. I ran it through the company. I told Mike I was taking some time off, so we needed to get him the numbers for Friday morning, last Friday by the 6th. I was gone on vacation. I take one vacation a year. I was gone for 10 days. I came back. We do a lot of work for BAE Systems, and they had an emergency, and I was pulled away a lot of the time when I got back. And I should have got more involved with the numbers that were submitted last Friday. Brian Worsham, who the chief knows is our chief estimator, he took the information, passed it on to our civil engineering division, our MEP division, and they looked at it and they put together a proposal. And what they did was they put in what they thought was the right numbers to do the work for the revised proposal, considering we still had a balance left for the other contract. It didn't work. I mean, when we talked about it and I had internal meetings with my CEO, we made a commitment to you people back in 2022 when we submitted our proposal to come in and do this project for $100,000. That was your initial one on Page Street, and then $15,000 to do the site assessment, for Sanborn. And so it just said we got to help these guys out. We got a reputation. We have to help these guys out and do the right thing. So we went back and they agreed. I mean, they agreed to go back and use this format, and we came up with that $85,000 figure to finish off what we're going to do on the Page Street facility, the Center Street facility, and of course the main goal is the Sanborn facility. So in reality, I talked to the chief because we're going to do this thing working with qualified mechanical and electrical contractors that we trust to help us in the design build and try to keep the cost down so we're not coming up with full-blown MEP drawings until the project gets approved, of course, by your voters in March of 2026. So I put a plan together, and we talked about this with Mike today, that we're going to work with Palmer and Sicard, we're going to work with Carter Sprinkler, and we're going to work with Interstate Electric to come up with the right design, working with our engineers, using their knowledge. I mean, I built multiple fire stations, and Palmer and Sicard was was the mechanical contractor, and Interstate was the electrical contractor, and all of them. This building is sprinkled. Sometimes it depends on the areas. We've done a few in the past that didn't need to be sprinkled, but we do a lot of work with Carter Sprinkler. They're right in Concord, right down the street from here. So I'm gonna put a lot of time and effort in myself. I have a lot of experience. That's probably why you chose us initially on fire station construction. So I'm gonna put a lot of time and effort in on my own dime to make sure this gets done and we can get this thing within budget. We will prepare a full-blown GMP for all 3 phases. But initially, engineers cost money, and that's. Remember, I think I told you guys earlier on. What intrigued me to go to Lorero was we're a full-blown engineering firm with everything under one roof. So we have architects, we have Brian Worsham, we have engineers. So you can come, like, for instance, you're talking to me. You're going to talk to me through this whole phase, and if this thing gets through and gets passed, you're going to be talking with me all the time for the construction over a several-year period. But you're going to be the voice of me. You're not going to have to worry about calling an architect, calling an engineer. You have issues, you're going to talk with me, and that's why I'm here today.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Oh, no, I mean, I want to do this. I mean, you guys have been great.
We want to do this too.
And then
the 2026 meeting, realistic time frame to get there.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the length of time, if it's approved in March of 2026? We're in our mind thinking of it as 3 phases.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you think that will take? Because some of the stuff can be happening at the same time, but obviously we need to, in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, we need to get the Sanborn Road Station built so we can move equipment into it, so we can free up Sanborn Road for phase 2.
Park Street.
I'm sorry, Park Street. But obviously, some of that prep for Park Street can be happening at the same time. So I guess the question is, if somebody was to ask me, well, how long is this whole project going to take? Am I telling them how many years?
That's one question that I was going to ask you gentlemen tonight was, is this the bond is the bond phased? I mean, are the residents going to be told that this is going to be over a 4-year period? Because I know, Chief, we've been talking, we said 4 or 5 years. We'll build that new station on Sanborn Street in 12 months. And we could probably do, depending on what you want to do on the Park Street station, I mean, we got to get in there again. At one time we talked about, remember even the addition, we talked about when we put the addition on, when we're going to have it, so it wasn't really bearing on the existing fire station because there was issues with the roof loads and all that stuff. We still got to do some more investigation into what we want to do at the Park Street station, but figure 12 months for Sanborn, and by the end of the 12th month, you're moving all your equipment.
That's 12 months of construction time, but paperwork, preparation, getting contractors together, is it realistically become 18 months or 2 years from town meeting to...
From the time the vote is taken, are you thinking a year or a little bit more than that?
15 months.
15 months.
To finalize the drawings and get the bid process, 15 months. And then again, we'll be putting the word out there that this thing is going to be coming out to bid and all that. Once the schematic drawings are done, we can turn around the drawings and do the bid process in 3 months. So I would figure 15 months from... Are the town meetings usually generally in early, is it March 4th or March 11th or something like that?
March.
Yeah,
We're
middle
in
of
the middle of
March. So, I mean, 15 months. And then we can move the equipment from Park Street, and then in the meantime, we're going to know what we're going to want to do on Park Street, because we need to do that before you guys present this to the town anyways. But
So do you add 15 months for that project? Build a buffer in.
12 months. So we're talking 27 months. And then I think on phase 3. We talked about it a little bit, Mike. You guys, you're gonna handle their possible
We'll
remediation,
handle all that. We already have bids on.
the demo
The
one?
demo, which including any remediation that needs to take place.
Okay, and then you
And
get somebody
pave.
that's gonna go in and take everything out, and then you're just gonna pave it and give it back to the town, right? Is that the goal?
Yes.
So really, phase 3 isn't really us, it's phase 2.
Right.
So 27 months.
So build a buffer in and say 3 years. From approval
Right.
to completion.
I mean,
So that-
I don't want.
That becomes 2029.
I don't want to go, so we need to present the whole thing, obviously, so
Yeah,
the district voters get to see what the whole
Yep.
project's gonna be. But I don't want to do, phase 1 and then phase 2 doesn't happen for, a couple of years after that, and then something comes up and it never happens.
Well,
You know.
and
and the things you gotta think about too is, when you present it, you gotta be realistic about what things are gonna cost 3 years from now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we could get this thing in the bid process, and the subs are bidding on both projects at the same time, knowing that we'll put a schedule together, we'll develop a guideline schedule for the subs to bid on, but they're gonna bid it, and they're gonna lock in their pricing, but we don't wanna tell them 2029, we wanna tell them something that's realistic, and they can talk to their suppliers and stuff, we do this all the time. And they'll commit to hold their price until that deadline comes up, but I wouldn't want to drag it on too long, because who knows what's going to happen, right?
well, and chief agree or disagree, but operationally, we're gonna have to make some sacrifices while Park Street is being built. So in
Yes.
other words, the ladder truck will not fit in here, in the downtown station. So.
The tanker won't fit in there, the ladder truck won't fit in there.
Right, so the tanker won't fit?
Nope.
Okay. So.
I mean, they have to go up to.
They have to go up there, and those two vehicles are typically manned by call personnel.
Right.
So if we gotta live 12 months with that, well then, we'll do the best we can.
Right.
But to string that out 5 or 6 years, that's gonna have a definite, effect on response times.
Right. Any thoughts on that?
Well, the only thing I think of, we can't, the whole thing's got to be done on it. We can't just do a piece of it. Then, like he said, stop for a year doing that. It's got to be all done at once. That's what people, it's hard because there's two towns here. Tilton wants it in their town, and Northfield wants it over
I
here.
remember that
So
last
the
year.
only thing we can come up with is please both of them
Yeah,
and do the best you can.
yeah.
So it's all got to be done, basically.
It has to seem to the people viewing this as a seamless project, that it starts here and then just kind of moves over to there and
And if we can
internal
do some
where shifts
stuff,
and
yeah,
stuff around.
depending on what we come up with on Park Street, hypothetically, we could even put foundations in for a proposed addition if we're gonna keep the fire station there, or,
Yeah, but we're just saying it just, during the schedule, we have to figure out what we're gonna do. And then once we put it on a piece of paper or on a schedule for the folks to look at when they go voting for this project, this is where it's gonna start, and this is what it's gonna look like, and halfway through it's gonna look like this, and then it's gonna look like this going
So,
forward.
we need to present it as one project that's multiple phases, it's not two separate projects.
Right.
yeah. And we'll put together a complete schedule to show all that too, and then we'll get into it. I mean, I'm very confident I'll be able to put something together that's gonna be realistic as well. But just going on back on past, we do projects sometimes that are phased over 2 years, 3 years. Like I brought up BAE systems, they're like that all the time. But if we go in and we tell the subs, you're gonna have to do this in 2028, and you're gonna make sure you talk to your suppliers. These people, they work together, they lock in the prices. We don't wanna have somebody come back and go, well,
Right.
so everybody will be locked in. So you'll know you're gonna have a number that you can live with, a GMP that you can live with.
All right, what else?
Now, for the $85,000, what do we get out of that? I mean,
You get,
Well,
we're gonna get the whole format that you put together, we're gonna
okay, I
follow
didn't
that
read it
guide.
all. Okay. I'll read it
there's
all.
a spreadsheet in there that I'll go over with you. Wait, where is
Schedule of
it?
values.
It's on the back of this, right?
Okay, I see it here.
It's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, this page by itself.
That a separate page?
You don't have the one you
The
emailed
schedule of
out.
values, I know, I didn't.
Yeah, I got it.
So what you have on there, Paul, is the top section is the article of $100,000. All the things we've spent so far,
Okay.
which on that $100,000 leaves us 19. Okay. Now Lorero has billed us for
70.
um,
So you had the 100,
Yeah.
Steve, right, and then
Well,
you had the two, and you
I
had
have
the
explained to him
15,000.
several-
okay, yeah. So we've paid Lorero. There's 15,000 for space needs, 40,000 for program evaluation and the geotech, and we have $45,000 left on the
$100,000 contract.
yeah, and that's one specific line item. The rest of the money we spent when we added the $15,000 geotech evaluation up at Sanborn Road and the Center Street evaluation. So the balance on the Lorero contract currently is $45,000.
Okay.
That is work that has yet to be completed that is still contracted, right?
Correct.
And then the new proposal is $85,000.
Plus the 45?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
and then less the balance, that 19,000. So if you subtract the 19,000, that's how we came up, or the chief came up with that $111,000 that we need for the Warren article, so that we can complete that. And that $85,000 is sort of detailed in this document that's titled
Okay.
Lorero.
We're gonna need to do survey and all that stuff for both properties, but that's all included in this.
You know, we have a current survey for Park Street, that we just, because we purchased a piece of land and added it onto, so I have a current survey for
Okay,
that.
why don't you get me that, Mike, as soon as
Yep.
you can too, and let me see what I can do with that, okay?
Yep.
Because we talked about doing survey
Yeah,
at
it's
both
all
sides.
pinned and everything,
Yep.
so,
Yep. And I remember we talked about on Sanborn Street, it was gonna be, we wanted to make the station big enough, but we wanted to make sure that you have to deal with this, you still wanna do a softball field and all that
Well,
area, right?
We wanna
with the
leave-
town, we want to leave the back part of it, so the front part of it would be us and the back
Yeah.
part will be left to
Yeah.
the town, so they can put whatever they want to put
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe pickleball courts.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to be
Still- I still gonna do
cognizant
that.
of
Yeah.
minimizing our footprint.
Yeah. Now, how'd you guys make out with the water company? Remember there was an issue with
Yes,
that?
so we asked the town if they would let us connect to the water up there off of their connection. So it would not be a new connection with the water department.
Oh, yeah, we talked about maybe doing that, but now it's confirmed?
Yeah, they
Well,
were,
the town's going to let us, I don't know if the water district is going to let us.
the town, obviously the town is, I mean, it's the same pockets, we're,
Yeah, yeah. But we're
And-
still gonna
and-
have to deal with that, because we
and-
definitely need the town water to come in, especially for the sprinkler system and
Right.
everything.
Yes,
too.
because we'll need it, it'll need a separate service for domestic and a separate service for
Yeah,
the sprinkler system.
correct.
so the town is willing to work with us on that. Obviously, they want to mitigate the expense as
Yep.
well.
Yep, okay.
Now, whether we can get enough water off of that connection, and
We'll have to, yeah, it remains to be seen how that's going to pan out.
Yep, okay.
because if we have to connect to the water department, that's another big expense.
Yeah, because it's on the other side of the fire hydrant perhaps, and you get into that kind of a Ponzi scheme thing that they have going on.
And if I can remember, we have gas, natural gas on Sanborn, and we have it on Park Street as well.
Yes.
We have it on Park Street, do they have it on?
They must, because the police station.
What's the heat up there?
police station's on natural gas, so I imagine they have it there.
Yep.
Well, we should probably look that up, huh?
What isn't there is sewer. Sewer's down the street,
Yep,
so the police are on a septic system.
yep.
Oh,
I remember that as well.
So what would that do for us, though? We'd have to put in septic, I mean, leach field and everything?
Yeah, we'd have to look and see what the cost for a leach field is. We have to make sure that we have proper separation for hazardous materials and things like that, and balance that against the cost for bringing the sewer up.
And then when the PD looked at it, because I remember being at that meeting and talking about that, and there was a group who thought that they should spend the money and connect to the sewer, and they were looking for ways to pull cost out, and that was one of the things they pulled out, because
Yeah.
it was gonna be substantially more expensive than putting in their own septic field.
Yeah, I wonder how it will work out though with the fire station being there now too, maybe if it might be worth it down the road, I mean, just, we can look into that,
I expect we will,
yeah.
yeah. And see what the, I know it may cost a little more upfront, but the return on the investment over the course of time may be cheaper.
Yeah.
Because,
You're not dealing with the
systems
septics
don't last
anymore,
forever,
no.
and they take up space, and
Yeah.
I mean, you put it underneath the parking lot, and then have to tear up the parking
Yeah.
lot, and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
I just don't know how much more expensive it is to cross Route 3.
It's on this side of Route 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
On the-
Walgreens has it.
Oh, okay,
And I
all
think,
right.
right, I think they had to get to the other side of the road and then all the way
You
down
have
to
to
the
cross
corner.
Sanborn Road.
Cross Sanborn Road and go all the way down to
Gotcha.
the corner.
Do you
Interesting.
think Jay Jill would be on it? But I guess
No, no,
not.
no.
Maybe they want to be on it.
There you go.
Maybe they want to help pay for it. I can talk to some folks, we'll see what's going on.
All right, what other points do we need to?
So I guess I need the commissioners to authorize me to sign the new agreement to extend I guess it's a change order,
And the original contract will stay the same.
and the original contract will stay the same.
But we don't have approval for the money,
Nope.
so how can we sign?
So the motion would be to authorize the chief to sign the contract not to expend any monies from it until approved by district meeting,
When is that, Mike?
March.
Okay.
So we still have like $19,000.
Yeah, I'm not stopping, we'll keep going.
All right, well, I will make the motion to authorize the chief to sign the appropriate documentation to extend the contract we have with Lorero. Is that proper verbiage?
It's a change order.
Which is a change order, but not to appropriate the funds until
Not
they,
to expend the
not to
funds
expend the funds until they are approved,
appropriated at the district meeting.
appropriated at district meeting. Thank you for the proper verbiage there.
You're welcome.
And I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion on that?
No.
All right, hearing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion's approved.
Now, Mike, right after the holidays, you don't mind if I get going? I mean, we got money, we got funds left in the initial one. I want to get back into Park Street. I want to start getting Brian going on some initial floor plans for Sanborn, so we have money in there to do it, so we're going to keep going.
One of the only things, I'm sure the chief can help you out with this, is the charge that we gave to the building committee list apparatus. It doesn't list bays or the size of the bays. But we need to have enough garage space for the apparatus that was listed for each location.
Yep.
But at Sanborn Road where it says an engine, that bay needs to be big enough for our biggest piece of equipment, because that could be an engine, a tanker, or a ladder truck.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so Sanborn Road initially has to be big enough to hold the tanker, the ladder, an engine, and 2 ambulances at the minimum. That's,
So, I mean,
so
I
it's
think,
like 5 bays.
I think we were thinking 5 bays, but obviously stacking 2 ambulances and 2 40-foot bays, obviously. but the chief can certainly help you with the dimensions for those
Yeah,
pieces of
absolutely,
equipment.
yeah, absolutely.
We don't wanna build extra bays, and we don't want the bays to be bigger than substantially bigger than they need to be.
But you want to be able to.
We want to be able to get 5 pieces of equipment in, and it has to be
Yeah.
those 5.
Now, did we talk about putting overhead doors on either end?
So, that site does allow for overhead doors on both ends. So the building doesn't, it might be deeper, but it doesn't have to be as wide
Okay.
in doing so. I don't believe Park Street, unless you orientate the
No,
building.
not Park
side.
Street, but Sanborn, we can do
Sanborn,
that.
you can do
And that
that,
way you can
yeah.
back into 2 ambulances and they can take off in either direction
Yep.
and go around the building and come on. Yeah, okay,
Yeah. So we can keep the building narrow.
Yeah.
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 Eric?
Merry Christmas to all.
And
Thank
you
you,
as well.
Eric.
You guys started already?
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
Be on the record.
Was there anything else that was kind of vague in those?
Not really.
No, we get along great, so we'll work together, so.
Okay.
Now, what if it gets voted down again? Hopefully it doesn't, but
Well, the only thing that would be voted down would be the appropriation for the additional $85,000, which is $111,000 actually. If that doesn't pass, then we're kind of done.
Yeah, we can't move forward.
okay. I'm just concerned about them, you know?
Yeah. Well, they'll get their 19,000.
Yeah.
You feel, what's your gut feeling on it?
I think the design and engineering fees won't be a problem.
Okay,
I think 2026 is going to take some explaining.
oh, you mean when it goes to the vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big, you know, for
Yeah.
the whole project.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll never get to 2026 unless we get the 111,000
Yeah.
in the warrant article this year.
okay. And then, I mean, there's a lot of optimistic people talking about things are changing in January, so I guess we'll have to see, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'll be honest, I have people in business that we had jobs put on hold this year, a couple of big jobs put on hold, and they wanted to see how the election turned out. And as soon as the election was called, they said, okay, go ahead. I mean, they were worried
So a
about,
lot of optimism.
yeah, a lot of optimism. Even if you like them or don't like them, there's still a lot of optimism. So, I mean, BAE was doing a tap dance, I mean, because the government was hesitant to shut down. Trump's gonna come in, he's gonna,
Well, BAE is a military supplier based in England, and if Trump, no, we're getting that.
All right.
Well, that's
All
not,
right,
never
we got other
mind.
stuff on the agenda. Is there
oh
anything?
yeah, I don't wanna talk politics, I'm
Yeah.
just saying optimism, there's some
Yeah, so
optimism. And
they're happy as hell. I can tell
yeah,
you.
and then hopefully the voters are gonna feel that way in April of 2026, you can't guarantee it, right? And with the inflation and stuff this year, right? There was projects like in Bedford and Nashua and Exeter that they thought were gonna be a shoo-in and they were voted down because people were concerned about inflation and buying groceries for their families, right? And all that stuff, so. But, you know, I just wanna tell you guys, I appreciate this, I mean, I love working with you guys, and I'll give you 110%, and we'll talk, Mike, right after the holidays. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be bugging you to come down and let's just make sure that we get this thing done right, so hopefully it passes.
Well, and I just want to say, and I'm sorry that it's taking us so long to, but hopefully we get some traction now and we get
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you guys need me to do, all right?
Appreciate it.
All
Thank you
right,
so
and
much.
Merry Christmas, gents,
Thank you.
okay? Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you
much.
coming by.
too. Hey, Merry Christmas, have a great trip, be safe, okay?
Yeah, thank
Merry
you so much,
Christmas.
yes.
Merry
Take
Christmas,
care.
man.
Thank you
Talk
very
to
much.
soon, brother.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Where's our? Right, what's his name again? Tom what?
Ward. Thomas Ward.
It's a big one. It's right here on the back page. It's like it's not.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I have it today.
Yes. All right, we skipped public comment, there's no public here. Mike, you have anything?
No, sir.
All right. We jump right to building committee, anything else for the building committee? we know when their next meeting is?
No.
Okay. All right, correspondence. Jefferson Solutions, that's a separate document, Paul. These are the folks, this was part of the audit,
Yep.
and one of the concerns the audit folks had was our liabilities,
Yes.
and we've never really done anything about that, but because we're potentially looking forward to a financial agreement, we talked about having that fund done, and this was their reply to us with their contract or
Yep.
contract terms, and it comes with a price tag of $2,250. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, and the reason we need this, Tim Pearson said that if we're gonna go borrowing money, we have to have this report done, and it becomes part of our audit, and this gentleman will conduct this, I think he said in January of this year, coming this year, so it can be included in the audit for 2024 that may be used for the funding purposes for any projects going forward.
Now, is this a one-time thing, or is it?
It's a one-time thing so far. I don't know if it has to be done again, but we've never done it, and so that's why Tim Pearson says it needed to be done.
Basically, this is the audit for the audit that we
Yeah,
talked about.
Yeah, and
last
basically,
month.
it goes through what our future liabilities would be, and basically, we really don't have any because we don't, for like retirees, we don't offer benefits to retirees or anything like that, so that's the big part, you know. So all our liabilities are generally current. We don't have any future liabilities at the present time.
So you think it is a one-time?
I think it is a one-time thing.
Yeah, if you wanted to have this done every year, you'd have to.
Well, that's what I mean. Next year, we do something, do we have to, when we get audited again, they're gonna have to?
Oh, and should we? Should
Yeah.
we maybe do it again next year?
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. Is it, if we get audited again, they're gonna come back and say, we need to have this done again?
I believe what our auditors said, when I asked them about it, they said, you have no record regarding your liabilities. And this will provide us with a record for our liabilities going forward. I don't think we need to do this again unless we change our policies, which would create liabilities in the future for us.
Liabilities that we don't currently have.
Right. And the only liabilities we currently have, we would be able to pay with what we have on board. And really the only current liabilities we have would be to, if everybody left today, the fire department, we would owe them their vacation time, their accrued vacation time. And plus any other contracts that we have. But that's what future liabilities really are. If we were paying if we had a policy that said we could contribute to anybody who's retired to their health expenses, that would be considered a future liability, and we would have to create a schedule showing how we would pay for that future liability. But we don't have that, so it should be a fairly easy document for them to put together.
Which is why it's only $2,200 and not $10,000,
Yeah.
like the regular audit.
We sent it out, Tim Pearson reviewed this, he says it's a great price. It's much cheaper than what the town of Tilton pays for their,
Because they have a lot more departments and liabilities.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's $2,250, is that what?
yes.
All right, I make a motion that the commissioners have Jefferson Solutions conduct a actuarial evaluation for the district for the year ending December 31, 2024, that,
Authorize me to sign it.
and in the amount of $2,250, and I authorize the chief to enter into contractual agreement with Jefferson Solutions.
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, any other further questions? All right, have a motion, made and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. While we're talking about that, I want to move to the budget. Page 2. I'd like to amend line 4150 auditing from $10,400 to $12,650, which accounts for the audit that we just approved. That's the highlighted one.
Yep, I see it.
Oh, okay.
So we had already had $10,400 in there for the audit, and then this is to increase that line to cover this $2,250.
I'm just looking at the chief's budget, which seems to already include that number, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I adjusted my number to reflect that. So, did you make the motion, Tim?
I made the motion, yeah.
So,
I'll second it.
all right.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. That is the first item under old business. Agenda item 6A. Right, you want to move on to chief's report?
Yep, got it.
All right, so I sent you the report last Friday. I hope you had time to review it, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just an update on the ambulance. Still not repaired, but we're running it with just check engine light on.
Yes, I talked to Ford, and they want to see, want us to bring it back again, but right now we're running it as is without any issues, other than with the light on, it won't automatically regen. We have to manually regen it.
And do we have a procedure in place so we do that
Yes,
on a regular basis?
very much so.
I did hear from Lakes Region that it sounds like we're responding with the newer ambulance most of the calls.
Well, this is an even month. December's an even month, so we use A2 and engine 2 normally in the even months, and in the odd number months, we use engine 1 and A1.
I thought it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
No,
It's month to month.
the deputy changed the policy on
Okay.
his
So-
operational policy.
So we're using the new ambulance right now?
Yes.
We still had a bunch of mutual aid ambulance requests.
Yes. Not as many, though.
Yeah.
Engine 2 is currently at Lakes Region Fire Apparatus for repairs.
How long are they gonna have it?
They brought it there yesterday. They had it yesterday, today. I expect they'll have it tomorrow anyways before we get it back.
What's the matter with that?
So the on-spot chains for the rear tires were messed up. A control arm got bent, and so they wouldn't retract all the way up. And there's one of the valves needs to be rebuilt. And there's a vibration when we're running the pump, and there appears to be some bolts loose that attach the pump to the frame. And so they're looking into that for us as well.
when do you usually have the maintenance done on those vehicles?
Those usually done over through the course of summer. I don't know which, we send both engines, the ladder and the tanker, to Lakes Region to do those things. And anything really big on the ambulances, we'll send them there unless it's something that's specific. We have to send it down to Greenwood Fire Apparatus in North Attleboro. Usually, that happens once in a while, but most of the stuff we take care of at Lakes Region. So they do all the PMs and all the annual inspections that are required for the big trucks. Still waiting to hear from Northfield on the PMs for like the command cars and the pickup truck and stuff like that. They have the contract that our lawyer sent to them, but I haven't heard back from Stephanie on that yet.
New doors are installed at Northfield.
Yes.
I'll check
They turn out okay, everything?
Yeah.
No. We don't have the auto keys yet.
Yeah, well, A&B Lock hasn't come in to put
Yeah.
the access control system in, so we're using a key right now. I'm bugging them to get in there and do that job.
But the doors are nice.
Yeah. Found out, first we were looking, we thought the doors went in crooked on a couple of places. You look at, it's not the doors, it's the building.
Yeah, yeah.
The building is kind of wanky in a couple spots.
Yeah, it's been hit once.
Yeah. That's all.
Well, maybe more.
Yeah.
Once where you could notice the wow in the wall.
Yeah.
Somebody hit it in the center, many years ago, remember?
Was it a school bus or?
No, remember in the center, because
In
they
the
had to redo
center.
the bricks.
Exactly.
Was it school bus or?
Oh, no, wait a minute. On the side, it got hit by something and pushed this, the plate in a little bit. That got pulled back, but yeah, the brick fascia
Yeah,
has been hit.
a couple times.
It was
Twice.
a plow, I think, at one
Plow was
time.
once, and then one of them, old engine 4, somebody
Yeah.
left the door up, and caught the bricks. And of course, one brick out, the whole tumbles down.
Personnel-wise, career-wise, we're still fully staffed. We've brought on board a new call firefighter, David George. He's going to start in January. We have 2 additional candidates that are taking their physicals in January, and hopefully we'll get them onboarded fairly soon. I guess I can let you know now that Courtney has tendered her resignation yesterday.
Well,
She's leaving us at the end of the year to pursue her career in, she does theater work and stuff like that, and that's really what she loves to do, so we'll have an opening there.
good for her. That's what she wants to do.
Yep.
All right, so you're putting out a,
Yeah, I'm putting together a want ad type of thing. I have it, it's all put together, I'm just waiting for the deputy, Balvenie to come back and review it to make sure he's good with it before we send it out.
Okay,
okay.
okay. I'd like to register my snowmobile, my tractor, my snowmobile, my airplane. No, I don't
All right, anything else on that?
Yeah,
I don't complain to you.
Okay.
Just if I could add it publicly,
Yes.
we had our annual boot drive fundraiser for the children's auction on Saturday. Had a decent turnout for both call and permanent personnel. In a 3-hour period, we raised $1,700, and the Relief Association kind of did a little bit of a matching fund, and so our donation to the children's auction this year will be $2,000.
Nice, good. Which I think is more than you have raised in the past. Travis.
Yes, in the last few years. Years ago, when we were allowed to, do the boot drive at Walmart, that was always a
Big turnout.
a big turnout, but, you know, since then, that's been stopped. So it's just the Tanger Outlet is where we do the fundraising as well.
I went to part of the meeting now. We didn't have a quorum, see what happens if not everyone.
Thank you for that.
Why ready?
While we're talking about other things, just for the record, we had the awards night.
Yes?
It seemed to be well attended. And that group citation that was presented was
Yep.
very nice.
Yeah, I think everybody had a good time.
Yep.
I think the venue was perfect for what we want and do there. What do you think, Paul? Did you have-
No, it was great,
Yeah.
great.
All right, anything else on the chief's report? Okay. Moving to old business. Personnel policy revision.
So that's in the folder, and that basically is, the commissioners and the budget committee have voted to
I think it's the last,
authorize the,
last 2 pages of the stapled.
yep,
Yeah.
it's, we're offering dental insurance now, and we already had a policy in place, and basically we just have to eliminate the highlighted line to reflect that the department is paying for it now instead of the individuals paying for it. If you can make a motion to accept that change, that would be great.
So,
I'll make a motion, we accept the dental plan, the fire department will pick up.
I'll second that. So we're just removing that line, we don't need to add any verbiage?
Nope.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, we have a motion, and seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved. Update the personnel policy in regards to dental. Okay, budget committee meeting recap. Is that just there, so Paul can give us an update?
Yep. The budget committee they've finished going over the budget. They have a meeting next Monday. Is it Monday, Paul?
I don't know, I'm not gonna be, it's either Monday or it has to be Monday.
Yeah, I think it's.
Because I'm
Mon-
not there.
Yeah, it's Monday, and basically, the only thing they're waiting for are the warrant articles or any other amendments that you gentlemen would make tonight.
I think other than that, everything went.
Well, I watched the the video of it, and the whole discussion about the wage increase and the 3%, and everybody trying to calculate out that 3% and go, oh, it's only for 9 months, not the whole year. And what was failed to be said by you or Kathy was that last year was 53 weeks. This year's 52 weeks. The mix of employees has changed. And that start date is obviously April 1st. So you got the 1 point, but not the other 2. So everybody's trying to make that 3% number, total number work, over
Because
9
yeah.
months. But it didn't work because you got about the other factors.
According to the calendar, budget committee, next Monday.
All right, so at this meeting later on here, we'll go over the warrant articles. All right, anything else from the budget committee?
No, that was about it.
I failed to go through and look at what the budget committee's budget looks like as compared to the commissioners.
It's very few changes.
Well, there's very few things to, that you have control over.
That is true.
I don't really remember cutting.
Yeah, I don't think there was,
So Paul, they left the SCBA washer in?
yes.
They did. I didn't.
Was that a long discussion as well? I don't think I got to that part of the meeting in the video.
It was about 4 minutes maybe.
Alright. Well, that was one item I was wondering about.
Looks like there's about $30,000 in difference
Right.
between the commissioners and the budget committee.
Yeah, there's no lot. I mean, Park Street Station, that was $500 a day.
How can the group health insurance be less, but the health insurance opt-out is more?
Because we, at the last minute, we had an additional person take the opt-out,
Oh, okay.
and so that switched those numbers. Instead of the family plan, they took the opt-out, saving the district about $20,000.
I see that.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, well, anything else? I'm going to suggest that we move on.
Okay.
One of the things that we put off at the last meeting, and again, it's in this packet, Paul, it's the third page from the back, was talking about choosing a firm for legal representation. So Kathy made this up for us. It's the different firms in the order that we had them come in, and then who the contacts were, their rates, any towns they're currently representing that are notable to us, and then I just asked her where their offices were. I know that Jason had made his opinion known at the last meeting, and I was in agreement with them. I really like the folks from DTC Lawyers. That was Eric Mayer. He was the one I asked what questions I should be asking, and he did a really nice response to that. They're also, their rates are very favorable, and they would be my first choice. And
Mine was that one and the last one.
And what did you like about the last one?
I don't know, they just seemed, I mean, she was very knowledgeable.
She was sharp. She was very
She
sharp.
was very sharp.
Yep.
But, like I said, the other one they were great too,
Well, the only
DTC.
yes, and I guess the major concern I had with the last group is they represent Tilton.
Yeah, you're right.
Any feedback from Tilton on the
Pardon?
service? Any feedback from Tilton on the service that they received from?
No, I don't. No, I heard back from Northfield on the service they were getting from their firm. Very favorable.
Okay.
think if they were unfavorable, they wouldn't be there.
Right, right.
I personally think it's good that we pick a firm that's not representing either Northfield or Tilton as our primary legal things, so to try to avoid any conflicts of interest, especially going forward where we, we're hopefully a fire station projects going on, and different sets of lawyers will have to look at them, and it's good for us to have our own set of lawyers specifically looking into our concerns. Say if we picked the Mitchell Group, they would have to recuse themselves from us and Tilton on any agreement, and then we both have to find somebody else to look at it. So my recommendation would be to use the DTC lawyers personally.
Based on what all three of you said, the point's right there. The rate's reasonable,
Yep.
seem to be good people, they're not related to either one of the other communities.
Well, do we need to make a motion?
Yes, you do. We have to hire these folks because we're going to have some issues. We have to have them review our warrant articles, and I have a new cistern that we need to get an easement for, a new cistern, a proposed cistern that we need to get an easement for, so I have work for them.
And what?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept DTC lawyers to represent us.
All right, I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Chief, can you coordinate, and then, whatever correspondence you need to let them know, and then maybe when Kathy's back, she can send something out to the others, thanking them for their.
Yes, take care of that.
Okay, thank you. All right, new business, set ambulance rates. So that's this sheet with all the yellow on it.
So according to policy that the commissioners put in place a couple years ago, I think we amended it during the year, over the last year, but the procedure is the same, and during the month of December, I review all our previous costs using the formula as outlined in the policy, and that determines what we should be charging on for our ambulance rates going forward in 2025. If you look at the spreadsheet, the numbers that are highlighted in blue are our current rates, and the numbers that are in yellow are the rates that I propose that we'd be charging for 2025 according to the policy.
And how do those rates correspond with others? Are those easy to ascertain, or?
Yeah, so, well, they don't give me our billing agency doesn't give me specifically anyone else's numbers. They give me the aggregate or the average of their largest 50 customers, and we're still pretty well below the average of their 50 customers. But this represents a true cost of what an ambulance ride is with us.
Approximately 11% increase.
Approximately, yes. And one of the things I can tell you is that due to diligence in pursuing the appropriate record keeping and billing, although we have transported less people this year, we've collected more in revenue, ambulance revenue, and I hope to see that continue going forward. So it's a good thing.
How do you do that?
Because, well, our rates are more reflective of what it actually costs us to provide the service. There are changes in the legislation that allows Medicare to pay us a higher rate. We're currently in a study that the state is putting together to come up with what the state, hopefully in the next legislative session, whether it's year 1 or year 2 of the biennium, is looking to set rates statewide. But until then, we need to set our own rates.
And then the billing being sent directly to us instead of the patient.
Yes.
And that,
That law is already passed, and so we are, they can't send bills to, checks to patients anymore. They have to come to the fire department.
that takes effect or has taken
It
effect?
has taken effect. That law was signed in August, I think it was August 24th or something like that. 60 days from the date of that signature, it went into effect, so now that law, the insurance companies have to send us those
So
checks
will we
now.
be able to see over time?
I would say.
We won't have those disposition reports where they sent the money to the
Your customer.
customer and we
Yeah.
didn't get.
Yeah, so those numbers should decline over time. Some of the legislation, once those, if the state goes forward with the legislation where the state sets the rates, the insurance companies have to pay that rate, have to pay us, but at the same respect, we cannot go after anybody or balance bill anybody going forward. But if this would be a good thing though, because it's less administrative costs of us chasing people, less cost for our ambulance service, being service to pursue all these other things.
Well, assuming that the rates they put in place are.
Well, this is one of the things that the report is not coming out until the end of this calendar year. I have a meeting next week with the committee that's doing this. I've been heavily involved in it, and basically the state insurance commission hired an actuarial firm to perform this humongous study and to determine what appropriate rates are for ambulance services, for emergency services in New Hampshire. And that's broken down into rural, super rural, and urban. So like Nashua and Manchester would be an urban. We're actually considered rural here, according to Medicare mapping. Super rural would be somebody up like in Carroll or Coas County, even Grafton County probably.
So what's that gonna do to Comstar? You'll still need them, but
Yes, yes,
it'll take some of the burden off them,
yes.
so they should do it for less.
Well,
I would
that,
think.
see, so
See a rate
that's,
decrease.
so that's one of the next things. We have to wait for that legislation to pass and see what happens, and then I will go in for a renegotiation.
Now, do we do this rate study each year?
Yes.
We did this last year too,
Yes.
didn't we? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I make a motion to accept the new rates for the coming year.
I'll second it.
Right. Any additional discussion?
Now there again, it won't affect, well, let's say me, for instance, if I was to go to the hospital, the ambulance, and Medicare pays whatever they pay, I would get a bill, or I would not get a bill.
With Medicaid?
Medicare, we don't balance bill Medicare. We don't have that ability. We have to accept what they pay.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we do not, there again, bill people that paid for the service in this community.
Right, so,
That's all I'm asking.
so,
If their insurance pays, $1,000 and the bill's $1,500, then that's
well,
it.
that's a policy that we have in place, and the commissioners review that
Okay,
every month.
I just
As-
wanna make sure it stays
Yeah.
like that.
We can't say that policy is only for residents of Tilton and Northfield. The policy cannot be prejudicial in that sense. We have to have a policy doesn't matter where you live, because that's the law. The policy, but you can individually look at each claim and decide whether you want to pursue a balance billing or not.
Which we do now. 'Cause
And you
sometimes
do that.
We have people that are deceased, we have,
As long as, yeah, as long as
Yeah.
it stays like that, that's fine.
we still have that ability.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a motion that's been properly made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries with the new billing rates. Okay, that's next on our agenda. Warrant articles. Alright, so some of the items, the totals are not yet available, but we need to discuss the format, verbiage, and whether we're in favor of. And this is the opportunity to reorder them if we choose to. I guess, my first one is Article 2, that came up last year. Are we required to accept the reports of the treasurer and fire commissioners and pass any vote related thereto?
No. I guess I think,
I mean,
Well,
Tim
last
Pearson
year-
does a report and you do a report.
and then it gets published before the,
I guess it allows, for
District
if
meeting.
somebody has an exception to something that was printed, it allows an opportunity for them to speak. So I guess it should stay there. That's my,
it didn't get, that was the only warrant article that didn't pass last year, if I recall. And we had Attorney Fitzgerald there at the time, and he said, doesn't really matter. The reports are still exist. Whether they accept them or not, I guess it's entirely up to,
well, except I suppose somewhere down the road, somebody came back and said, well, the district didn't even, didn't accept your report, so is there, some reason why they didn't?
I don't know.
But I get it. Look to any way you can to trim that meeting. Not create a stumbling block that over something that really doesn't matter much, but I get it.
Alright, so what do we need to do for each one of these? If Kathy was here, she would.
Yeah, so what you need to do is review each one, and you have to approve to it as to form. And some of them already have a number in them, so you can approve them with the number. The ones that do not have a number in them, is because we don't know what that number is yet, and you can approve that, the actual number at probably in the January meeting of the fire commissioners.
Alright, so do we need to approve Article 1?
No, only the ones where it says
Budget Committee?
recommended by the Board
Commissioners.
of Fire Commissioners.
Alright,
So that, three and on.
alright, so let's discuss Article 3, operating budget, district development rules, and appropriate. 3,700,000. Now that dollar amount's wrong because of the auditing line.
Right, so we have to amend that number, add the,
So if you add 2250 to that,
So what would it be, 3,700,000?
30,000. What was the one number? I thought you were.
1250?
261 plus
37,
1250?
10, 5, 11.
225,
3,710,511.
511.
So 3710?
Yes,
511. I move that the commissioners recommend this line item.
This warrant
This,
article. Article 3.
It's Article
as-
3.
As
Now, wouldn't the budget committee have to approve that too?
the budget
The budget
committee,
committee will-
they'll have a meeting to do that.
right,
Monday.
I'm assuming, okay, so let me reword my motion. I move that the commissioners recommend Article 3, taking into consideration that the budget committee will approve the $2,250 increase in the auditing line, which will raise this number to $3,710,511. Is that okay?
Yep.
Second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Article 4, Apparatus and Equipment Fund. The amount here is $328,681. And that should show up. Article. Powers for equipment. That's the bottom of page 12. Right, that is the amount of the budget committees, which also is the commissioners and the chiefs.
I'll second it. Did you make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Article 4 in the amount, in the budget committee's amount of $328,681 as,
Okay, just
no, we shouldn't be approving the line, it's just an article.
just a warrant article, and you can do the amount, but even though the budget committee reviews article warrant, the items in article number 4, it's the commissioner's recommendation that goes to print, even if the budget committee thinks it should be less or more.
So this is not.
It's
the
a
budget
commissioner's warrant
Okay.
article.
Right, so let me reword that, sorry Courtney and Kathy. Article 4, I move that the commissioners recommend this article as printed.
I'll second it.
Right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Article 5, Fire Prevention. So this is the money to come out of the Fire Prevention Fund, and we're taking that out before we put the money in?
Yeah, so
Is, I guess, is there some
You
reason
can-
for the ordering?
you can order it in any way you want. It doesn't matter the order. So one is, we're putting money in from that we collected this year, and the other one is we're appropriating money to spend next year.
Is this the same order that we've done in years past? Because I don't have last year's in front of me.
I don't have it. These warrant items have been bounced around all over the place since I've been here.
No. I was only thinking, Paul, that we have that warrant article to take the money that we've collected and put it into the fund, and this is the warrant article to take it out. And it seems to me we should put the money in before we take it out, although there's
agree.
probably enough
Yeah.
money
To
in that
avoid
account.
confusion.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the Article 7,
Yes,
and that amount we don't know yet because we haven't gotten to the end of the year.
correct.
All right.
Move Article 7.
I would, all right, so,
Oh,
I'll make a motion to move Article 7 before Article 5.
I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All right,
So,
I'm gonna renumber the add to fire prevention as Article number 5. And then I make a motion to accept the verbiage in new Article number 5, add to the fire prevention ETF in the amount that we'll know at the end of the budget year. Sort of a housekeeping order.
I'll second it.
All right, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. Now it's gonna get confusing for Courtney. Or Kathy, whoever's doing.
Courtney will be doing, I can,
All right, so, fire prevention budget, which would now be Article number 6.
yep.
$21,416.
Yes.
That's in here, isn't it?
It should be in one of the pages there. Right here, page 7.
I was looking for a breakdown of what they were spending that for.
I'll have that here. This is Deputy Valdang put this together, and since he's not here, he asked me to explain it to you. So this number has multiple facets to it. The first facet he has is for overtime pay for extinguisher teaching for companies and stuff that ask us to do fire extinguisher training. The next facet is for when we have fireworks, the overtime cost for fire prevention, because we have to inspect the fireworks and have somebody on scene for the fireworks. The following aspect of this budget is to purchase smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and batteries, so that we, when we go around, we go to people's houses, and if they need one, or they call up and say we need one, we provide it and we install it for them. He needs a new iPad for his car, because the one that he has, you can't write on it, and since he's doing all the inspections, it would be easier for him to have that, and then the iPad that he currently has will go on to Engine 2. But he'll pay for it out of this fire prevention budget. The next facet of this item is that there's a new, it's called NFPA Link. It's this online service where you can right online go and get all the codes for NFPA 1 and 101. And so when he's writing out a citation or something like that, he can plug in the code that'll go right on the citation. He also wants to purchase some educational supplies for the schools, the senior center, and for other fire prevention activities. He also wants to purchase a new fire extinguisher training prop. And those are all the purchases. The other thing he talks about is on the fire prevention trailer. He recommends that we surplus the fire prevention trailer. It has not been used since 2019. The technology contained within it is outdated, and the trailer needs major overhaul. I see TNFD moving toward a more community risk reduction model. targeted outreach and programs for schools involving our senior citizens and helping them with home evaluations, interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in more homes, business life safety evaluations. He plans on attending the National Fire Academy in late 2025 or 2026 for a community risk reduction course. And he goes, there are many paths we can take, but one idea is an enclosed utility trailer. This could be used with the extinguisher trainer and other small props in our educational materials. I believe this is a better use of the fire prevention fund. I will do more to research over the next year and make a recommendation after attending the National Fire Academy. Excuse me.
Okay. If you could you forward that to us?
Yes, I will.
So we have a copy, and the second thing is, I'm more than happy to surplus that trailer, but I'd like to wait until maybe next month when Sean's here and we can talk
Sure.
with Sean and then authorize that.
Okay.
I just want to have the conversation because I don't want to, in 3 years go, well, we need to have a trailer discussion. So thanks Sean for putting that together. And if Kathy was here, she could tell us how much currently in that fund. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it's approaching $50,000.
Yeah, I thought it was. And do we know how much we've collected so far?
This year, somewhere, I believe, just over $10,000.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Then I make a motion to accept the verbiage and dollar amount in new article number 6, fire prevention budget, and that the Board of Commissioners recommends this article.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, now we're down to land and building fund. I was thinking about this one, Paul, I'd really like your input on this. We're gonna have a warrant article farther, or there's another warrant article here to add to the design, it's old, it's currently in there as number 11. Add to the design and engineering and architectural fees for that $111,000. Blah, 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 special warrant articles, non-lapsing, blah, blah, blah. So this warrant article will be covered by taxation. And then we're also asking in old warrant article number 6, add to the land and building trust fund, $100,000. And that's raised by taxation.
That's good. As they're written right now.
That's their written right now. So I had a couple thoughts on that. One is, well, should we ask for the $111,000 first? Does it matter? And then 2, could we, again, without having looked up the land and building capital reserve fund, is that fund written in a way that we could take the $111,000 out of that fund? Or is that inappropriate? I'm thinking that's probably not appropriate, personally.
I'd have to go back and research that specifically.
And any idea what we got in there?
It's close to $1 million. It's 800 and almost 900,000, maybe over, maybe approaching $1 million.
And what's gonna happen? You're asking for 100 a year, and you're gonna ask for another,
111.
yeah.
Well, the 100 here would go towards the land and building fund.
I understand,
The 111 would go towards the design and engineering.
I understand, but it's
architectural
basically
fees.
the same thing.
Yeah,
We're-
it's towards the same
We're
goal.
asking
Towards the same
people
goal.
to support this
Yeah.
future.
They're gonna, I'm telling you, they're gonna be trouble. I just feel it, you're asking for the 100 to put in there, then you're asking for another 111 to do the design of.
What was the
it's-
fund set up to do?
So it was to help pay for the construction of a fire station.
Does this not
Specifically.
part of that?
Well,
You could be. I'd have to look at the wording to see it specifically. I think the more important of these 2 articles is the 111
right.
At
one.
this point, sure.
Yeah.
Which is
I
why I
would
said,
Because it's no good without it.
Yeah.
which is why I think the 111 should go first,
I would do the 111 and not do the 100.
not do it at all.
No?
Well, if we're gonna do that, I would say we leave it in there because we have been doing it. And we just vote that the commissioners do not recommend it. Because it's been in there every year.
Yeah.
And then we can speak to it. We can speak to the fact that, you know, there's a lot of different ways to approach speaking to that because, and it's one of the things that you probably heard me say before, I don't like asking the taxpayer to give money for a project and then the project never happens.
Yeah.
Or to give money for a project that isn't gonna happen until after they're long gone, right? You know, your boot fundraiser, you're not raising that money to stick somewhere. In 20 years, we'll give it to you to
Right,
do whatever
right.
it is. Well, then ask me in 20 years for the money.
That's right.
So we're basically doing that. Every time we put off building the building, we've been asking you, you've been putting money in here, and you're getting no benefit from it.
Well, it is collecting interest.
Yeah, but I think a lot of district members would rather have kept the money.
Perhaps, yes.
You know, they're giving it to you in good faith
Yes,
that you're going to do something with it.
and that, in the end, will reduce the overall, they're gonna come up with that guaranteed maximum price.
And we'll reduce it by whatever the
I
amount.
just, as I sit in those meetings and watch people, are we doing things to confuse them? Because the minute you confuse them, the answer is no.
Right.
You know, you're confusing me, what are you trying to pull? Well, it's, what we're trying to do is spell it out very clearly to you.
Right.
But we took something simple, like needing $100,000, put it in and take it out. What are you trying to pull here?
Right. So I guess.
So how do you simplify it?
Right.
Keep things moving.
And if we're going to put forth in 2026 this proposal that will hopefully get approved, and then we're going to go after a whole bunch of money, well, this allows the taxpayers to put $100,000 in this year. So there's still a valid argument to say, you know, we're going to start paying for it down the road, but we can still pay for it this year by putting $100,000 in there. I just want to bring up all those topics so we can get it out there. But the one I'm mainly concerned with, I think the $111,000 one has to go before this one.
I agree. Because I don't think they'll both go, I really don't think both of them will pass. If you ask for the 100, then you come back, I need another 111,000 to start moving things forward for the design and everything. People are going to say, you just got 100, now you're asking for another 111.
All right, so let's, the communications tower fund, that's just moving money, half of the money we've raised into the account. We're not spending anything from that account, all right? The dry hydrants and cistern fund, that's money that we're putting into, that's tax. And we didn't ask for that last year, did we? Because we had a bunch of money in there.
Right. So, we have about 170,000 currently in that fund.
You have a project that's
I have two projects.
70,000.
Two projects on the line. One is the new cistern that's gonna be on Caleb Hill Road. Way down, I think it's 242 or something.
Yep.
And the dry hydrant on Sanborn Road between Lancaster and the town line. That should be going in any time now, according to Steve Partridge.
Did the state have Lancaster Hill Road closed today for that guardrail repair?
It's gonna be closed for.
It's supposed to be today and tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll.
I don't know if they closed it today because of the
Because
snow.
of the
I
weather.
didn't go that way.
Or maybe we'll go home and look and see if there's any. All right. So I almost feel like some of these were removing money from one account to another. Well, those should either be. I don't know. You put those at the beginning just to get them over with, or do you put them at the end? Mike?
Well, I'm saving Article 10 and maybe just ask a question while we're talking about moving things. Does Article 10 force us to amend our budget total?
No,
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Because that's,
that comes out of the unreserved fund balance.
Okay, all right. Just trying to organize it that
yeah.
if you gotta amend
Unassigned.
the
fund
budget,
balance.
yeah, if you gotta amend the budget, then, make sure this is included. But
So
that's not
what is
covered.
impacting taxes is the operating budget,
Correct?
the $100,000 to the land and building fund, the $111,000 for the design, engineering, and architectural fees, and the contingency fund.
Nope.
No, that comes out of
No,
the
that comes out of the unassigned fund balance. The other ones would be, add to the dry hydrant cistern fund, that would be taxable.
You almost feel like the ones that are gonna raise your taxes, you wanna have, in my mind, you wanna have them at the beginning of the meeting when most people are there, because if you start losing people, you don't want people to say, well, you voted to spend a whole bunch of money after
Yeah.
people left.
Agreed.
So it's almost like that fire prevention should get moved farther down.
Easy enough to do.
Is that making sense to you,
Yeah,
Paul?
yeah. Because them are gonna be the hot ones, and
All right, so what is the thought for the hydrant and cistern dollar amount?
Well, the last two times we appropriated $100,000 into it, because if I want to put one dry hydrant in that's complicated and one cistern, you spent that $100,000.
And-
I can say that for, over the course of the next year, we have the one cistern and one dry hydrant with the 170 in there. I don't think we need to add anything to it this year. And next year, if we have more candidates for one or the other, then maybe we should add to it at that point in time.
So should we add some dollar amount to it, just a smaller amount? Should we not have it on there this year? Should we
would
have
take
it
it-
on there and
I
not
would-
recommend it?
I would just take it off. I think if you're not gonna recommend it, you should probably just not have the
Not
warrant
have it,
article.
okay.
Because having it on there and then the commission is not recommending it, that's confusing in and of itself.
Exactly.
Not to me,
Yeah,
but
I take it right
No, no,
off.
The
but-
general public.
Sitting out there in the general public going,
Okay, all
you
right.
hear the whispering, what are they trying to do?
All right, so I make a motion that we remove the dry hydrant cistern ETF article from the warrant.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right.
So you think we ought to move Article 11 up?
Yeah, I guess I would, without getting in, I think we need to do the operating budget, the apparatus and equipment fund budget. Then we should do the design, engineering, and architectural fees.
That would be Article
5.
5.
Currently 11, it should be 5. I'm gonna have to start crossing numbers out. All right, that should be 5. Then we should do the land and building trust fund, or land and building fund.
Well, if you're not gonna recommend a sum to put in there, I would take it out entirely.
No, I think we should ask for the 100,000. Just having the conversation here, I think we should ask for it. We've gotten it every year in the past. We should continue to ask for it.
So you're going to ask for the 111,
Yep,
then right after that, the 100.
100,000.
I mean, you can ask for it. The most you can do is get voted out. So
Well, crazy, right, because somebody can say, well, if we're gonna vote for the building next year, then, you know, we don't need to put that $100,000 in, and they can vote it down.
Yeah.
But then I can turn around and say, well, this allows us to put another 100,000 towards the building this year, which will be another 100,000 you'll have to spend next year.
I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, the most they get do is get voted down.
Right,
Well, but I think you're smart by putting the two together.
right.
Yeah.
Because look, we're about to hit a topic. you know.
Right.
100 goes in, 100 comes out, you know, however you want to do it.
All right.
I agree with you in the ordering though.
All right, so we're gonna make, design engineering architectural piece number 5, we'll leave land and building fund number 6,
Yep.
okay? And then we can do, I guess fire prevention could still be number 7.
Yep.
And then we move the old fire prevention, article number 5, make that number 8. So we'll put the money in and then we'll take the money out,
Yep.
So that should be number 8.
so this will be number 8.
And that should be an easy one.
Yeah. And then the tower, that's straightforward because we're just moving money, so that will be number 9.
So I'm sorry, you did say put the fire prevention in, the fire prevention out,
Yes.
one right behind the other?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. You concur?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're on the topic, here's what we're gonna do, in and out.
All right, and then we've got the health insurance for $32.90. That makes sense to leave it there,
Yep.
right? And then, all right, let's talk about article number 12. We're down to number 12. So what we're doing here is we're just adding,
Adding motor vehicle billings. It says ambulance currently, and then we're just adding, we're changing it to ambulance and motor vehicle billing. So what's happening right now is that when we go to car accidents and we do hazardous materials stuff there, we do extrication, we do traffic control, any of those things, a car fire, where we can charge the insurance company of the car involved, and we've been doing it this year, and we've collected somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 this year. We want that money to go towards the apparatus and equipment fund, because that's all the equipment we're using to do those things.
so right now, because it just says ambulance and we responded with the engine, we can't, the money doesn't automatically go.
Right, so ambulance billing goes into here, but we want the motor vehicle insurance billing to go in here as well. Right now, it just goes into the general fund, and we lose the ability to use it because it.
Right, so the verbiage changes. So instead of revenues from ambulance billing, you wanted to say ambulance and motor vehicle billing.
Correct.
Is that the right terminology, motor vehicle?
That's what Kathy and I came up with. I suppose we could add
Well,
voting voting in there too, but.
Well, that's, it's you know, all other billing, right?
When you say motor vehicle,
You're assuming it's a car accident.
you assume that way, but it's not stated that way.
It's
It's a motor vehicle accident, so it could be a truck, could be a car. I guess it could
Motor
not be a
vehicle
jet ski.
mitigation, motor vehicle.
But like if, let me just play devil's advocate. I have boat insurance, so if you're responding down in the river, I don't know, can you bill my boating insurance for some sort of rescue or a hazardous material mitigation?
Probably.
Or, you know, so how do you, what word do you use to encompass those types of things?
What about a motorcycle or, you
Well,
know?
Well, I think
Well,
motorcycle will be covered under this, but, yeah, boating it's one of the questions I was thinking about when I was talking this over with Kathy, and we did have one boating accident where we used resources this year. We didn't bill anybody. Although, well, he may have gotten an ambulance bill, but we didn't bill him for using our resources on the water. I would
Well,
say
so-
it's
so,
so few
well,
and far between.
Yeah, ambulance sort of, in my mind, refers to, we provided services from our ambulance.
Mhm.
So if we're providing services from our other equipment, as compared to why we're billing ambulance services whether you're having a heart attack or a seizure. All
So,
right.
yeah, the
But-
ambulance billing goes, we bill the health insurance companies.
Right,
The motor vehicle things, we bill motor
vehicle insurance.
vehicle insurance companies. And I also have legislation, that I proposed legislation that's gonna be heard this year to help us make this easier for us to do too.
So these still have to be approved by attorney.
Yes.
So could it say, I'm just throwing this out there for somebody smarter than me to have a, could it say ambulance, motor vehicle, and other billing events or other,
Other billable,
other billable services?
yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah. Let's look at this. What if I had a, you want to be careful, because like I said,
Transportation, what we call it, transportation insurance, something like that, I don't
if
know.
I had a three-wheeler, four-wheeler,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a motor vehicle.
Yeah,
And I got hurt, well, I don't have insurance on it.
well, you're not gonna get a bill, but.
Well, no, I'm saying,
Yeah.
so in other words, you gotta,
What this bill, what
I
these
understand
billings
that.
are is
I know
if
it
if that trike hits the gas line of your house and breaks the gas line and the gas starts pumping everywhere, now we have a hazmat incident. That's what that is. I mean, if you got hurt on the truck, we're still gonna pick you up in the ambulance and take you to the hospital, and that would be a separate billing process.
Motor vehicle mitigation collections.
Well,
I'm just throwing.
yeah, going back to your, if it's a hazmat situation, is your homeowner's insurance gonna pay for that?
It might. If the car hit the building, the car was the causation, the car
Insurance
insurance
will cover it.
will cover it. If you go out there with a hatchet and just smash a gas line,
We're showing up and nobody's billing anything.
technically, we probably could build a house insurance.
I mean, that raises that whole other question. You have all these district members who are paying insurance to cover them for those types of things, whatever they may be. And then they're paying for the fire department to show up. So anytime their insurance offsets the fire department's cost, it saves them money. And the customer's paying for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're asking to pay out of pocket. But then, right, does it create so much more admin work to...
Motor vehicle insurance mitigation.
Well, and then, right, the homeowner's insurance got $1,000 deductible or whatever, and, yeah. All right, so if it says... We're gonna change it from ambulance billing to ambulance and motor vehicle billing. Ambulance and... It just seems like there should be a better term than
You're right, and that's what I'm trying to think of over here. Is
Well, we sat there for a
a
good
long time. Couldn't think of
long
anything.
time, and that was the best we could come up with. Maybe I should have asked, what's that, Chat GPT
Well,
for the wording.
should it say something like, you know, emergency services billing, or, because that could be more all-encompassing.
Yeah, maybe you're
emergency
right.
services revenues.
Other, ambulance billing and other emergency services billing.
How about something like that?
Billings or revenues?
Well, you don't
Not
use the word
No,
revenues.
no, you're right. Billings.
From ambulance billing to ambulance billing and other
Emergency services.
emergency services billing. I would suggest something like that.
All right,
Yeah.
I like that better.
Did you get that down?
Yeah, we may not be able to repeat it.
Other emergency services.
All right, so that's just to provide a means for any other revenue that's generated to go into the, all right.
Progressive Improvement Fund.
I make a motion that we accept
This would be 11 now, wouldn't it?
no, because we got rid of 11.
Would be the new 11.
Oh, that's right. Right. This is Article 11. New Article 11. I move that the new Article 11 amend apparatus and equipment replacement fund purpose to update the verbiage from ambulance billing to ambulance billing and
Other emergency services.
other emergency services billing.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion that's been made and seconded. Any final discussion on that?
That's Article 11.
Correct. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Let us know, obviously, if legal wants to tweak that a little bit.
Sure.
All right, then we move on to what is now going to be established contingency fund, which will now be Article 12. $36,000, that's a percentage, right? It's less than 10, but almost 10.
It's 1% of the previous year's voted operating budget.
1% right now, 10. And last year that was approved. I believe, yeah. Some
Yes,
years it
was.
doesn't.
Yes, it was.
Right. This money comes from, all right. I move the new Article 12, establish a contingency fund for the Board of Commissioners to recommend that article for the contingency fund.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion?
Now, we've never used it. We've
No.
never used any of it yet.
Nope, that's correct. We've never used it.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
So I don't believe you voted on you moved things around, but you didn't vote on some of them. So
Oh, okay.
Article number 6, you did not.
The Land and Building Trust Fund?
Yes.
The Land and Building Fund? All right. I make a motion that the Commissioners recommend Article 6, Land and Building Fund in the $100,000.
I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't keeping track.
Article 7, add to the fire prevention expendable trust fund. We know it's new Article 7, but did you vote the verbiage, yes or no?
Yes, I think
Well, if not, I make a motion for the Commissioners to recommend Article 7, add to the Fire Prevention Trust Fund in the amount of the budget total year end for that account.
we passed it. I voted passed it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We already did that one. How about communications?
You have to vote on that one.
All right. Article 8. Did we approve fire prevention budget?
Yes.
I think we did. We did
Yes.
that one. Yeah. All right. So, new Article number 9. I move that the Commissioners recommend Article 9, Communications Tower Trust Fund, in the amount of $11,518.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? We're just migrating the money from the budget into the trust fund. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Do we do Article 10?
No.
Yep.
Right, I move Article 10, add to the health insurance deductible trust fund, that the Board of Commissioners recommends this article.
I'll second it.
Right, this is $3,290, and that comes from the fund balance, and that's to replenish that fund. Any additional discussion? Right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Right, if we do,
New Article 5.
right, new Article 5, I move that the Commissioners recommend new Article 5, which is to add to the design and engineering and architectural fees in the amount of $111,000.
I'll second it.
Right, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? This is a raised by taxes. It is a non-lapsing appropriation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That's it.
Can I just ask this question about Article 12, only because I'm not familiar with it? Well, Chief, you mentioned that this contingency fund should be approximately 1% of your operating budget.
The previous years.
Last year's.
Of the previous years.
Gotcha.
Voted operating budget, yeah. Yes.
So last year's budget was 3 point whatever, this year it's 3.7. So 1% of that would be,
So the voted.
but the previous,
The previous operating budget was $3,555,000. They added $100,000 into the operating budget for the things, that brings it up to 3.6 million. So that's how you get this number of 36,000.
but we never expended any of that money.
None.
All right, so
Just
if
go-
this gets approved, there now will be 70 some odd thousand.
No, it lapses at the end of the year. It
Oh,
goes back.
you don't use it, you give it back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
So you
Because if you're looking for 1%,
Yeah.
you know, you're gonna add 36 to what we did use, brings you to 72,000.
Yeah,
Thank
so,
you.
so
That
this,
answers my
this,
question.
the money comes out of the
Unassigned
unassigned fund
Yep.
balance, and then if you don't use it, it just goes back.
Gotcha.
But if you don't have this and you go over on the budget, you gotta have a special town meeting.
No, you don't have to have
No.
a special town meeting. You have to have a meeting between the commissioners and the budget committee. They have to vote to give permission for me to go to DRA and ask to overspend
Overspend the
the
budget.
budget.
Gotcha. No, clarification
It
takes
takes
care of me.
it takes a while.
Yeah. And then the other thing is when you pull things out of the unreserved fund balance, they're funded in the order that they appear on the warrant. So if you have multiple items and you don't have enough fund balance, you stop funding.
Right.
And if you go to a school district meeting, they fund a lot of things out of the unreserved fund balance, and they do it specifically in that order.
Gotcha.
So in my mind, it's a great way to fund those accounts, so you don't have to come and ask for, but then some would say, your budget's too high if you have all this money
Right.
left in the fund balance.
So the only other thing is that GASB or accounting requirements in the unassigned fund balance, it's supposed to be 15.667% of your voted operating budget. We're nowhere near that. So that's one of the things that people who are lending you money look to when they're determining when they loan you money what your interest rate may be.
How short are we?
Oh, we're about
$100,000.
$300,000 below where we should be.
And part of that mentality is so you have enough operating money so you don't have to.
Do a TIF.
And where we get our money from the towns pretty reliably monthly, we don't usually have that problem.
We do get the money monthly now.
But the town, where they're not getting their taxes until
They have to borrow.
June, and they end up having to
Well,
borrow
that's
money.
because they didn't put enough money aside
Yeah.
to do those things. But I'm trying to help you guys all together run a top-notch organization that, so if we have to go to, in front of anybody, there's no bad check marks in our
Right.
involvement.
I sometimes wonder if the district voters appreciate the fact that we run a
No, I don't think so. I think they
a well-run machine with highly trained, professional, empathetic firefighters who are very dedicated with proper equipment.
I know they appreciate us when we show up.
They do. They do. And when you talk to them after they've shown up, they're very complimentary towards the professionalism and, I use that word, empathy. You know, one of the people I talked to, she was almost embarrassed that she had to call 911. It's like, you know, how do you break somebody of that feeling? You're paying for the services. They're there to serve you.
Some people feel like, well, I need you, but somebody else might need you too.
Need
That
you
might
more.
need it more than what I need you. I said, well, we can't pick and choose when we have calls and who needs help
Well,
and
that,
at what times.
right, and my response to that question, or that comment is, that's why you need to be clear with the 911 folks to describe your situation, so, you know, they can ascertain the level of priority.
Yeah, and if we get those times where we have multiple calls going on at the same time and we get good information from 911, we can prioritize. We always started on this call, but no, we're going to deviate and go to this call, and we'll send somebody else to that call because that call sounds much more serious than that call. And that's, with good communications, we're able to do that.
Okay, Paul, anything else under new business?
No, I'm all set.
All right. The last thing included in your packet was the calendar of, the legal calendar of when things happen and have to occur.
Okay.
That's just for any informational purposes tonight. I just wanted to make sure you had that.
Okay, I'll review that.
And
Take that with you to Florida so you can memorize it.
We have no non-public tonight. We have no warrant,
You mean no
no
dispositions,
dispositions,
manifest?
no manifest. But, and because Kathy wasn't able to finish putting it together before she had to go home, and so she requested to me that you guys need to have a quick meeting on the 18th of this month. I know Paul's not gonna be here, but you and Jason hopefully can meet on I think it's a Wednesday evening, for a quick meeting and to do the manifest,
Disposition reports.
to go, disposition reports, to review non-public meeting minutes, to review tonight's meeting minutes, and anything else that might come up. But we have to send the checks out.
Yeah.
And so, if you could,
That's Wednesday the 18th.
yes.
I was gonna go to Cancun that day, but no.
Yeah,
I would go.
You can wait.
I would go.
Yeah, that should be.
And if it's a problem, then if that can't happen, then Kathy will probably be calling you individually to come in and sign the manifest. And then any meeting minutes or stuff like that would have to be put off until the next time you guys meet.
Okay, I know I reviewed the minutes of the 11-12 meeting, but I didn't bring them with me, so I don't remember if I had any notes. I don't think I did, but I would like to. Paul, unless you're fairly confident on those, I'd like to put that off.
Yeah, I would, I mean, go ahead. I'm not gonna, I've read them and I've made them.
All right, I'm gonna table the review of the November 12th minutes of the public meeting. There's no manifest to sign, there's no disposition reports. And I will call a meeting for Wednesday, December 18th, here at 5:30.
Yes.
And you want me to let Jason know, or you,
I can let him.
okay. All right. Any other business to come before the meeting?
Nope. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, motion's been made. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned at 7:30 PM.
Thank you.
No, thank you.